everyone, thanks so much for coming through to this video today. Today we're going to have a go at painting in watercolours this snowman, and we've already done one Christmas one. We did the wreath this morning, which was this lovely one here. We've also done, sorry about the cat, likes to come and have a visit, and we've also done all of the drawn ones here as well, which you can catch on my channel. You can get all of the step-by-step instructional sheets and the traceables. If you decided you didn't want to learn to draw, you'd rather learn to paint, then they are there also. Oh, have I just picked up my snowman? I have. You join my channel, it's £2.99 a month, that's all it is. You got all the previous printables and traceables and any more to come. And you also get bonus videos that won't be on my main YouTube channel. That's that bit out of the way. Subscribe please if you haven't already. Like, comment, share. Give me your ideas or anything. If there's anything I could improve, please let me know. Or if there's anything you particularly loved, please let me know. We're going to get started. So you'll need watercolour paper. You'll need the traceable to trace out your image. You'll need a kneadable eraser, which I have here. You can just use a normal eraser. You need a range of brushes. I have got mostly rounds, and I've got an angled brush. They're not particularly big because this is just an A4 drawing, so don't need big swathes of paint. You'll need a palette of some kind. You'll need some watercolours of some kind. Doesn't matter what you have. I've got a couple of boxes here. You might want to invest in watercolour pencils. I sometimes finish off in detail with coloured pencils. You might also want to get yourself a gel pen, a white gel pen for doing highlights when we're done, and maybe a range of black liner pens also, because I tend to use those to line over with. I'm just going to pause so I can get... Okay, sorry about that, guys. So I answered the phone. It was just salespeople, but I always worry in case it's from school and it's to do with the boys who are at school. Right, I'm just going to have a quick cup of tea, and you can too. Make sure you've got a drink. Make sure you're relaxed. Put some nice music on. I will try to not talk too much. Okay. Right. What shall we start with? First of all, kneadable eraser. See, my concentration goes when I'm interrupted. Now, I am using watercolour paper from Frisk Papers. They're a really good kind of student grade paper, which are great for like little activities like this, for your sketchbooks or just for some mindfulness art. That's generally what my activities are all about. They are my designs. You won't get them anywhere else. So it should be something new and fresh every time. Right, I'm coming in and I'm gonna try. Now, blue is a really good colour to use when you're trying to make something look cold. Cold and icy and snowy, because obviously we can't paint white. So I'm gonna make like a very pale blue, like very pale. And then I'm also going to make a very pale grey. Just pick a tiny bit up of grey and mix it in with the white. So I'm literally going to swathe the paint, the grey, the very pale grey, as you can see. I didn't have enough water there, that's too dark, so just going to add some water and just spread it round. Okay, so we're just creating that nice little effect of snow. But now I'm going to come straight into my light blue and also add that in. Okay, can you see that? Just that little bit of blue helps to create a feeling of it's cold. So snow isn't white. Snow, well, I'm not saying it isn't white, but when you're drawing it and painting it, you'll see all sorts of colours in there. I mean, you could put pink in there if you really wanted to. Right, so I'm going to come in as well with an even paler grey, almost white, for the sky. Now, the only reason you can really see this is because my paper, it's difficult to you to see while it's wet, my paper is very, very kind of off-white. but that helps with pictures like this where you want to come in and you want some sky. I mean, should we actually have a blue sky rather than a grey cloudy one? Maybe the snow has been and now it's the sun's coming out. Let's do that. Let's have a nice kind of gentle blue sky. Can you see that? It's very gentle. Now the reason why I like the angle brush for this is because I can put paint down really quickly, but I can also use that point to guide it to where I want it to go. So just get some more of that. Just keep making sure you're adding the water, you've got it to the shade that you want. Okay, we do want it to be blue. We don't really want it to be too light, but we don't want it to be like a bright summer blue sky, because that would not help when giving the impression of a cold picture. There, that was it, a nice bit more blue there. So I've basically just added a little bit of white to make it cooler. Yeah, that's worked well. Now I will say, whilst I do these activities, they are not practiced. They are literally, you are getting me painting in front of you as I'm thinking. So I'm going to go back in there, get some of that grey, and I'm going to go in again and get some more blue, just so that there's a bit more in there. Okay, so now I'm going to make another grey colour, but this time it is going to be a bit darker, and it's going to be for the clouds, because the clouds do really need to stand out from everything else. They do need to be grey, but we don't want them to be too dark. We just want them to have aspects of grey. So again, I've made a nice darker grey colour, and I'm just going to make these little round marks with it. I think I'll swap to the round brush, because the straight brush doesn't work well when you want to make round curves. So I'm just coming in and trying to make it look real by dabbing that on, and then we can come in with the water and we can kind of splurge it more around, and that'll give it'll do its own thing then, because snow clouds, they are quite dark, aren't they? There we are. We'll give that impression. We'll come in with other layers eventually. I know at the moment it doesn't look like much, but we'll come in with other layers and detail later. I've got to be careful as well with not coming in with different colours. That sky needs to look like it's all one colour. I'm just going to water that one down because that looked separate. Okay, we're going to come in with some grey again. Still trying to keep it really light, but noticeable. Noticing, we can see that it's there. And don't forget, we can come in with more layers and darken those greys afterwards. See, that one's come out too dark. Just get my handy rag. All you have to do is just press down and remove if you make a mistake that you're not happy with. And that was way too dark. So just need to lighten that up a bit there. There is actually two clouds there, I think, looking at the picture. Yeah, okay. So now we need to give it a dry. Bang, crash, clatter. So, I'm going to come in now with the same sorts of colours, a very pale blue and my snowman is going to be all kind of covered in that very pale blue. So we'll just put that everywhere we want it to be, just where the snow is, so just his face and body obviously, and then we'll come in and do more layers after. We're keeping it very pale to start with, because then we can add more layers on as we go. Where's my trusty rag? Right. So this is supposed to be the sun over here, but I don't want it to be a very prominent, bright sun. So we need a watered down and a mixed in with white, yellow sun. So like a pastel colour. Let's see what we can come up with. I'm literally just trying out different yellows with white there. So it's literally going to be, can you see that? White with a hint of yellow. That's lovely. It mixes in really well with everything else. It's not standing out too much like this bright summer sun. You would for the summer go brighter, but we're trying to keep it really minimal, really kind of snow feeling like. So now we need to think about a scarf. I think I'm gonna go for purple, because I like purple, as you will all find out as you see my tutorials more regularly. I'm going to go for a smaller round, and let's do some stripes. A minute, that was a bit too dry, so I'm just going to come on, and that's basically, we'll use those colours as a way to form the scarf. Okay, so the scarf will stand out of its own accord because we are putting the stripes in. So what I'll do is I'll do the stripes, let that dry, come back and fill in the other stripes. Hopefully you can see that okay. A nice bright purple colour. And it's okay that the scarf is standing out because it's a man-made thing, and everything else has been nature so far, so that needs to be a bit more pale and realistic for winter. What can we mix in with purple? Orange is a complementary colour, so we could do that. I think I'd rather do blue though, to mix in with, yeah, that's a nice blue, to mix in with the feel of winter. So I'm coming in and I'm just going to fill in the gaps. So it's a bit of a more watery mixture than the purple, because I want it to actually fill in now the gaps of the scarf more carefully and make sure it's looking like a scarf. You can even go over the purple because it has dried, and then mix the colour in across. Oops, that was a big blob. Okay. You don't need to be too perfect about this. We're doing it as a nice fun sketchbook activity, and it doesn't need to be hugely realistic. So don't worry too much. Enjoy it. Just be creative and enjoy the process, and don't worry about the outcome. This is for you, it's not for anyone else. Right. There we go. Lovely, nice, bright scarf. You see that? Next, I think I'll go for the eyes. Now the eyes are black, but I think black would be a bit fierce, so let's try maybe just a grey. Just going to mix those colours for you. There we go. I don't want it to be too light, I don't want it to be too dark, it's careful. difficult to get it right. I think we're there. So I'm just going to come in with my round brush and draw the outline. Make sure you leave a little bit of white to show where his eye is. Just a little bit of white. And we can come over the rest of it with the gel pen later to draw in any more whites that we want. Okay, like that. Nose. Let's give him... Well, the noses are supposed to be carrots, although this one is round. So I am just going to go in with a little bit of orange. There we go. Right, so we'll dry that. Ooh. Right, I'm going to come in with the sun with the same colour, just slightly more pigment to it, and just give it some 3D-ness by adding value so that it goes from darker to light. We are creating an essence of something that is 3D, and we're going to be doing that with the snowman and the leaves as well now. I'm going to go back to my bigger brush and we're going to go in with the grey, and now we're going to just kind of, oops, it's a very wet grey. We're going to go in, that's what I was going to say, and give some, just some form to those clouds. Okay, just give them a bit of shape. That's all we need to do, is just keep going in and adding layers. And I'm literally just going anywhere with my brush because clouds are not perfect little fluff balls, are they? We're doing an illustration, so they could be perfect little fluff balls if we wanted to, but just to make it, give it a little bit of realism, we're coming in with another layer of grey. I need to do the one up here as well, which actually I don't think I'd filled in much before, so we'll do that more. And then there's another one here. Okay, good. Now we're going to come in with some more of that blue that is on the snowman. Just want to get the right amount of blue in it so that now it's a little bit darker. And we're going to come in, and can you see where the top half of the snowman is kind of a different section? We're just going to come in around the edges and around the bottom and kind of give it some shading there, because it will have darker values in different areas. So I'm going to do around the edges and just up the top. Louis, get down! Oh, they're so frustrated by the bad weather and not being able to get out as much. They're just being very annoying at the moment to all of us. They're bored. They fight with each other. I've got two cats, so they're fighting more as well, because the weather's bad and it can't get out and hunt for little gifts for me that I don't even want. Right, I'm going to go for a blue hat, and I'm going to go for the colour that actually is already on his scarf. So I've got the pigment, not much water, and I'm just going in to do the first layer. There we go. Don't forget to turn your paper if it's more comfortable for you, if you can get a more accurate feel of what you're looking for. Now I'm going to come in with the purple as well. I think I'll dry it first. It's dry, and I think I'm just going to add in a little bit of that purple, spread it along, just to introduce that colour from the scarf into the hat a little bit, and that just finishes it off nicely. Okay, so you can do that, just add one colour to another one, and it kind of makes the whole thing make sense. Now that we've pretty much done most of the body, we can come in and just do some funny little tassels at the end of the snowman. Just use the point of your brush. I've done the purple, now I'm going to come in with the blue. It's mainly pigment, it's not very much water, and yeah, make sure there's a mixture at the bottom there. Good. Okay, coming back now with the clouds, I'm going to have a much darker grey, and I'm just going to put in some cloud definition towards the bottom, or almost as though it's the bottom of the clouds. It's the heavy part where the rain, where the snow rather, has kind of landed. Okay, so just like, they're almost like little half circles. With the bigger clouds you can have them directly at the bottom, and then put some towards the middle as well, because that will also have lumps where it's holding the rain. Okay, and that gives it a bit more definition as well. A bit too dark there, a bit too much paint put down. Want it to be realistic, and it won't look realistic if it's very, very dark compared to the rest. It would need to be blended in a bit more like that. There we go. It's looking good. And don't forget, it does dry lighter anyway, so you can be a bit darker than you think you want the final bit to look. Right, so I'm coming in again with that sun colour, and I'm just going to put another bit around here just to darken it up a little bit more. There. Mix it around a bit. Okay. I'm quite happy with the sky just as it is for the moment. What should we do next? The buttons. I actually want to do the buttons a nice dark grey as well. So let's get some of that dark grey. I don't want it too watery because I want to have quite nice circles. And I'm just going to use the point of my brush to get them in place. Just get a sense of some buttons. And then we need to do his arms and things like that, but and details. But I'm going to do that as like with pen as like the final thing. I want to come in with a bit more blue on the snow at the bottom, and just kind of, see, just kind of outline and sweep where that snow has been. Oh, it's a bit too blue. I picked up the wrong blue, but actually kind of like it. We'll just move that along. There we go. Great. So I think in terms of paint, we don't really need to lay anything else down just yet. What I want to do is come in with an 03 micron pen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and just kind of outline the eyes a little bit. And if you see on there, they do have those white little parts of the eyes. I'm going to come around the nose a little bit just to emphasize, but then I also need to come in with a little mouth. We mustn't forget. What I do need to do actually, because those sides look like they don't really blend in with his face much, I'm going to try and blend that in so he looks rounder rather than, there we go, rather than having those very stark lines. So I'm going to do the same actually with the body. It doesn't need it as much, but the face did. Okay, and I'm going to come round the buttons. I'm going to just do a half kind of edge to them. Then I need to come in and draw. Oh, I think I might be running out on my 3. Let's pop that there. I think I have a similar, let's go for an 04 then for his arms. I think an 04 would be good anyway, because it's a bit thicker. I don't want his arms to be too thick because they're supposed to be branches. Okay, and you could even like put little branch marks in on his arms like that. You don't have to be too perfect with it. There we go. Ah, it's coming together now. Now what you can do is, where you want some little bits of definition and outline, you can come in and draw a bit in. Like the edges, it just gives a little bit of a feeling of what's going on. And also come in with smaller, like I might just do the base of the hat, just do some lines there. I don't want to do too much because I don't want to give away the, I don't want to remove how the paint has created some really nice effects. There. But it is an illustration, so we can add pen and it will make a difference, it will. I might just come around where his head is there. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so we need to think about snow coming down. So I'm going to dry it completely, make sure everything is dry. I think we need a little bit more sort of grey colour, but underneath, creating more shadow. Yeah, because he will be creating shadow around himself, so we need to kind of emphasize that a little bit. That's better. Okay, so snow. I think the snow has to be like a very light grey and a very light blue, a bit like what we've already used. And we're going to use the point of the round pen, and you don't want it too watery because you don't want it to bleed too much. Can you see that? So you want to go all over it, you want to go all over your snowman as well. Try not to do what I did there, that wasn't a dry part, because the snow will be falling in front of your snowman as well, and on the scarf and on the buttons. So just go for it, just draw those little dots in wherever you think they should be. So we'll do the grey ones first, and we're going to go over the snow as well, because if we're looking at it as though it's from far away, the snow will be falling onto the ground and it will be in front of the snow. So don't be afraid to just go over everything, because it won't look right if the snow is not going over everything. Even our snowman and his scarf, and I will do the hat later. Yeah, just go over the whole picture, and that's all it needs to be, is little dots really. Doesn't need to have anything else. Oh, just make sure you've got a nice fine point there, not too much paint on it, and that you're literally just almost just quick kiss on the paper of the brush. You don't want to be lingering there because too much will come off your brush otherwise. And I'll just put my finger in one. Right, so I'm going to dry that now, and then we'll do some more bluey grey colours for the snow. It's important to make sure it's really dry with watercolours, otherwise you'll end up with smudging your colour into another colour when you add it. It'll all just run and it'll just look like one big mess, and then you'd have wasted your work. So I've just got blue here. Okay, and I'm just again touching it with the point, and that blue mixes in with the grey nice to create some more snowflakes that feel cold. And we're nearly there. I hope you've enjoyed it. So as I say, you can join my channel for $2.99 as a member, and you get all of the downloads, which are printables and traceables, and you get bonus videos as well. So I haven't put any videos generally on my channel for a couple of weeks because I have been unwell with a winter bug, as a lot of people have been. Oh, I don't want that there. That's better. And but normally I release a few videos a week, 2 or 3 maybe on the channel, and then one as a member. So you'll should get a bonus video every month, but don't hold me to it. If I'm ill or the children are ill, it doesn't always happen. There we go. It's all finished now, our snowy snowman scene. I don't think there's anything else. Oh yes, that was it. I was going to do the gel pen. So we can start coming in. Oh, I better dry it before I put my hands on and smudge it all. We are. If you have enjoyed this, please do subscribe and click the notification bell, and that way you'll hear when any more come out. So I am just going to go in with my gel pen. It decides to work on me. There we go. The white gel pen, it really helps in just putting some highlights in, just to finish off the look a little bit. So I am going to come in and just put some more around the eye. I'm going to do a little bit on top of the nose, and you can see just that little touch. And a little bit around the buttons. Just make sure it's on the top, because that's where the lighter bit will be. I feel as though the buttons just need a little bit more black in them, but I'm going to use the pen rather than the paint at this stage. So I'm putting a low light, a dark value at the bottom of where it will be darker, and then I'm putting that lighter value with a white gel pen on the top. Sort of on the top and to the side. And you can do the same with the snow here. So you can, I mean, it's very light, so it's not massively noticeable, but it does help in the overall. You don't realise, but it does help. And then just a little bit, just come in and just do little squiggles in the cloud, because I think that looks nice as well. Just gives it another dimension, and they literally are just squiggles. There we go. I think we're done. So hope you enjoyed that. Please subscribe, click the bell, and leave the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say. I'm going to finish drinking my tea now, and I hope you all have a really good day. Take care, everyone.